Numbers don't lie, numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie, numbers don't lie. I got this shit you can't buy. Numbers don't lie, numbers don't lie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Welcome to the Crimson Mask Show Red episode 2. I am your host, MFGDs, and I'm getting ready to do what I do best, man. That's piss some people off with my wrestling opinion. So without further ado, let's get started. We're going to kick things off with Monday Night Raw. And we're going to start off with the love triangle between Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio, and Liv Morgan. Now, needless to say, Mommy was pissed. This whole thing kicked off with Mommy being pissed. You have to understand that hell hath no wrath like a woman scorned, and Mommy felt like she was absolutely scorned. So much to the point that she wants a match at SummerSlam with Liv Morgan. And why not? Liv cost her title. Liv may have potentially cost her man. So we'll see how that plays out. But anyway, these two ladies are going to go head to head at SummerSlam. And if you guys have seen last week's episode of the Crimson Mask Show, one of the return video for Rhea Ripley, you'll see that I think there's going to be some real shady things going on. And I'm not surprised, man, because Rhea Ripley was absolutely pissed that Dominic, when the night kicked off, Dominic was kissing her ass left and right. Kissing her ass. Begging, pleading. You know, mommy, just begging and pleading to get back in Mommy's good graces. And she wasn't having it. He tried to give her some roses. She slapped him with the roses. Yeah, Dominic, he had a lot of ground to make up. Then he was slipping up with his damn words, talking about Mommy is his, Mommy is mine. She said, motherfucker, I ain't yours. You don't own me. I'm Rhea Ripley. And Dominic couldn't do shit but sit there and look sad and pathetic. Like any man who got in trouble by his wife. Just looking sad and pathetic. Speaking of sad and pathetic, how about Jey Uso trying to slide in Mommy's DMs? I can't even say slide because he's been pretty boisterous about it. So much to the point that he went to fellow Judgment Day member Damian Priest, basically asking, hey, you know, what's up with Rhea? Rhea single? Like what? He's doing videos on Instagram. Like he's really trying to get in on Rhea Ripley. And Dominic, he just sitting there looking pathetic, looking sad. So now, you know, of course, Dominic, like, I got to man up. This dude walking around, he talking about he finna take my girl. Like, damn, we just not got into it. You trying to already slide in and snatch? Like, come on, bro. So he challenged Jey Uso. And come on, y'all. We already knew what was up. Dominic, bro, you are not beating no fucking Jey Uso, bro. Just no. Mommy even told him that. She told him, like, what the fuck are you thinking? You're gonna fight Jey Uso? Then Dominic like, oh shit, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go ask Adam Pearce if I got a match. Mom said, nah. Don't try to back out of it now. You better go handle your business. You about to stand on business. You better go ahead. So Dominic had to do his thing, and by his thing, Dominic, of course, did not defeat Jey Uso. And you had to know that Liv Morgan was going to get involved in this. Liv Morgan is not fearful of. I'll give Liv Morgan one thing. If I could give her one thing, is that she ain't scared of Rhea Ripley. She ain't scared of her. She came to the ring during Dom's and Jey Uso's match, and she straddled him again. He was on top of her, and she was on top of him, and you already knew Rhea Ripley wasn't finna just sit back and let that shit ride. She chased her ass away from the ring, over the guardrail, up the stairs. Liv Morgan was out of there. And so was Dominic, because he got that ass beat by Jey Uso. So now, you know, after all of that, by the end of Raw, Mommy let Dominic know, you don't own me, but I own you. And all Dominic could do is stand there, stupid mustache and all, and just say, basically, okay, Mommy. And it's crazy. You know, guys, I've been saying this for a couple weeks now, even longer, really. But since I started doing the Crimson Mass show, Dominic's going to turn on Rhea Ripley. Now, am I going to pivot from saying that he's going to do it at SummerSlam? Because there's actually like a couple things I want to see. I don't know if they're going to immediately go to this betrayal of Rhea Ripley. One thing I know for certain, though, is that, and I'll have a predictions video here soon. One thing I know for certain is that Rhea Ripley isn't going to beat Liv Morgan and take away that title at SummerSlam. I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening right now. I don't know if Dominic is going to accidentally cause Rhea to lose her rematch. Or I don't know if he's just going to outright screw her over. I don't know. I just know that Liv Morgan's going to win that match. And I know that at some point, Dominic is going to outright screw over Rhea Ripley. Like, I have a hard time believing. This is why I kind of backed up a little bit from saying he's going to do it at SummerSlam. With how soon SummerSlam is coming up, I have a hard time believing, and it's WWE, so it could always, I have a hard time believing that they're just going to immediately jump to the whole, I don't love you anymore, Mommy. I love Liv Morgan now. I'm gonna screw you up. I'm gonna help Liv Morgan. You know, I don't know if they're gonna jump straight to that. I think they need to take this slow. I think maybe he accidentally causes Rhea her match at SummerSlam. So that's where I am with that storyline. I have a quick one for you guys here. Next, let's talk a little bit about Pete Dunne. In order to explain where Pete Dunne is or might be going, we have to explain where Pete Dunne has been. Let's talk about the original Pete Dunne. I'm talking about before Butch, before Return to Pete Dunne. I like to believe I have an audience, the little bit of an audience I do have. I like to believe that my audience mostly have been watching wrestling for a pretty long time. Do you guys remember how fucking unstoppable Pete Dunne was? Pete Dunne was like, he was booked like a miniature Gunther. He really was. In fact, Gunther is the one that took the NXT UK title off of Pete Dunne, and Pete Dunne held that title for quite some time. Like, I do that to illustrate how well and how unstoppable Pete Dunne was booked. He was booked unstoppable. So his music changed to NXT. This is where I started to realize that we might have a fucking problem. They changed his music in NXT. Do you guys remember his original entrance music? It was like some Attitude Era-esque, like tough guy, I'm in the hardcore division music. And they changed it to that the shit that I think it's the thing he's using now. I think it's the same thing he's using now. And you know, I don't understand. I don't know who did his music then. CFO, fucking Def Rebel. I don't know who fucking did his music, his original interest music, but that interest music was fucking dope. And they changed it. That's when I was like, Then next thing you know, he got involved with the whole Pat McAfee thing and NXT thing. I don't know if you guys remember, they had a whole thing where it was like Pat McAfee. They had a stable. It was like Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, and I want to say, and forgive me if I fuck up his name, Danny Burch. I think it's Danny Burch. Like I was real tempted to call him Danny Burchill, but you know, Paul Burchill. I digress. But he was in that stable. Then I was like, because the Pete Dunne I remember wouldn't be in the stable with Pat McAfee. I love Pat McAfee. Him and Pete Dunne, that shit just never added up to me. Pete Dunne's supposed to be a tough ass, I don't want to team up with anybody type guy. So next thing you know, after that, Pete Dunne gets called up. Pete Dunne appears on SmackDown looking like a fucking paper boy. Extra, extra, read all about it. Pete Dunne gets called up to the main roster and gets called Butch. Like, it was fucking horrible. He was dressed like a fucking paper boy. Not just a paper boy with fucking rabies. Because he would crazily attack anybody that would even challenge him and step on him. It was fucking ridiculous. So time moves forward, slowly but surely, they start to take away the whole Pete Dunne dressing like a paperboy, because he was actually wrestling in his paperboy attire. It was fucking horrible. They changed that. They slowly start to move him away for that. They put him in the Brawling Brutes with Sheamus and fucking one of the wrestlers I detest the most because of what happened to Big E, Ridge Holland. Team up with these guys. Those guys had a little run. Pete Dunne, they all go their separate ways. That fuck up Ridge Holland, he goes back to NXT where he should have stayed in the first place. Sheamus, you know, starts doing his own thing. And I think Sheamus got hurt. That's when he was out for that real long time. And Butch is just lost. Butch teams up with fucking goddamn one. Butch teams up with Tyler Bate. And next thing you know, Butch is back to being Pete Dunne, which is great. I mean, it's not great because we couldn't get the music back, but I digress. So anyway, that's where he was. So used to be a stud. They turned him into a joke. Flash forward to the present, and Pete Dunne is pissed off that Sheamus abandoned him. And that's why he's attacking him on Raw. But the question is, what is WWE going to do now? Because you could easily see a scenario where they're going to feed Pete Dunne to Sheamus. Sheamus has not looked like the legend he is since he's been back. And you can easily see Sheamus just fucking destroying Pete Dunne, destroying him. And then, you know, he's back to being a joke. Tyler Bate, and I'm going to report this later in the episode. The news on Tyler Bate is we're probably not going to see Tyler Bate anytime soon. So, I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to feed Pete Dunne to Sheamus. What they should do is use this opportunity to rebuild Pete Dunne. Rebuild Pete Dunne to the badass he is. One thing I'll give WWE credit for when it comes to Pete Dunne is that the way they booked him, they never booked him in a way where somebody just comes into the match, obliterates some pins, and walk out. Pete Dunne almost always gets to get his offense in. He always gets to twist your fingers up, put you in some submission moves. So they don't let Pete Dunne look like a straight up puss. they do give him a chance to put some offense in, even when he's significantly outmatched. So I want to see what they do with Pete Dunne and Sheamus. I think that they should have Pete Dunne win the feud against Sheamus. What the fuck does Sheamus have to lose? Sheamus has already cemented himself as a Hall of Famer. Sheamus is in the twilight of his career. Nothing's going to happen to Sheamus if he loses a feud to Pete Dunne. But Pete Dunne will suffer tremendously if he loses a feud to Sheamus. And I feel like Sheamus is putting everybody over now. He basically put over Ludwig Kaiser. I think he should do the same thing for Pete Dunne. Let Pete Dunne get back to where he was. Because, man, I used to think Pete Dunne was going to be like the anti-Daniel Bryan in the sense that they're going to book him as like someone who shouldn't have any business winning this match, but his technical prowess is so good that he has a chance against anybody. And I think that's how they should book Pete Dunne. Gunther, man, Gunther was on one on Raw, man. Gunther was on one on Monday Night Raw. The shit, talk about fighting words. The shit Gunther was saying to Damian Priest, I couldn't fucking believe it. Gunther, let's talk about the main thing. Throw all the wrestling related shit out. Let's talk about the shit that Gunther said that I said, those there's fighting words. Gunther called Damian Priest, and in the comment section, please correct me if I misquote Gunther here. He called Damian Priest a piece of street trash. I have never heard such harsh words spoken to someone since I was a little kid watching Aladdin, and the guy who was coming in to marry Princess Jasmine, look, we're going down the road right now. Marry Princess Jasmine, he was on a fucking horse. Aladdin talked shit to him. He knocked down Aladdin. He told Aladdin, you're a street rat. You're born a street rat. You will die a street rat. And only your fleas will mourn you. That's how Gunther came at Damian Priest. That's how he came at Damian Priest. Y'all can tell I watched Aladdin a lot, bro. I watched that movie all the time when I was little. But that's how Gunther came at Damian Priest, and it was foul, but it was fucking amazing, though. Like, I'm sorry. I just love evil words being spoken in a wrestling ring on a microphone. I fucking love it. It was super disrespectful. And it's going to be insult to injury when you think back at Gunther saying these words to Damian Priest and then going into SummerSlam and defeating Damian Priest, because that's exactly what I think is going to happen. I think it's written. I think that's why they're running these vignettes. They're not going to run these. They would. WWE would swerve you, but I don't think they're running these vignettes to turn around and have Damian Priest beat Gunther at SummerSlam. Damian Priest had a nice run, but let's be honest here, guys. Let's be completely fucking honest. Let's be completely fucking honest here, guys. Damian Priest's run has felt like transitional paper champion type shit. Like, come on, guys. Come on. If you disagree with me, leave it in the comment section. But come on. I love Damian Priest. Love him. Done a great job. Thank you for the most part. You stop putting the color extensions in your hair. You're looking fucking ridiculous. Thank you for your tremendous effort as the world heavyweight champion. But bro, it's time, man, and it's a wrap. Gunther is gonna beat you at SummerSlam, and he disrespected you on Monday Night Raw. And I think you definitely need to get yours in before SummerSlam, because after SummerSlam, it's a wrap for you, brother. Thank you for everything. Now go feud with Finn Balor. Drew McIntyre versus. Okay, I love this segment. I fucking love this segment. So you guys already watch Raw, but you know me, when I'm talking my shit, I gotta I got to go through the whole thing. Adam Pearce comes to the ring with fucking, and I apologize in advance if you guys hear noise and shit. They're doing work out there. Adam Pearce comes to the ring. He got 2 fucking referees with him. He got 2 referees with him. Calls Drew out. Drew comes out. Drew looks like he's in a good mood. Drew looks like, I'm here to be reinstated. Drew says the right words, this, that, and the third. Drew really wants this match at SummerSlam with CM Punk. He really wants it. He really wants it. And what does Adam Pearce do? Now, I've been calling Drew McIntyre a lot of names these past weeks. Crybaby, this, that, and the third. Drew McIntyre, Adam Pearce is foul. I would have responded the same way Drew McIntyre responded. He called Drew McIntyre out, and he's all like, hey, yeah, you can get your match at SummerSlam, but I'm going to need you to apologize to these referees. The first thing I thought was probably the same thing that he, kayfabe, thought in his head, like, fuck these referees. I'm not fucking apologizing. What am I apologizing for? For pushing them around? They've literally been getting pushed around for decades, and you want me to fucking apologize? It's not fucking happening. It's not happening. Referees get attacked all the time. It's a part of the business. Not apologizing. So Drew McIntyre just can't fucking do it. So Adam Pearce tells him, you know what? You aren't getting a match with CM Punk then. Simple as that. I feel like, honestly, I would have booked this shit as, I would have had Drew McIntyre destroy everybody in the fucking ring, and quite frankly, I would have had him fucking destroy the commentary team as well. I would have had him lay waste to every fucking body, every security guard that came out. I would have booked that shit to where, and remember, I said I'm the king of booking, y'all. Don't you forget it. Don't you goddamn forget it. I would have booked that shit. I would have had Drew McIntyre destroy everybody. I would have made it clear. I would have made it loud and clear that the Scottish Psychopath is back. I still think they're trying to go towards that direction, but I would have made it clear right then and there. He destroys every fucking body. He puts CM Punk on notice. I'm going to fucking kill CM Punk. I'm going to destroy him. If CM Punk has the balls to show up to Cleveland at SummerSlam, he better write his will, kiss his dog, kiss his wife, fucking AJ Lee Punk, all that shit. Get your will and testament ready, buddy, because when you come into SummerSlam, you're leaving in a fucking body bag. And you know how I know? Because I just destroyed everybody in this fucking arena that's not a fan. That's what I would have did. But, of course, they had to have good old Seth Rollins come out. And, look, guys, full disclosure, I'm a Chicago Bears fan. I fucking love Seth Rollins. That doesn't mean that I have to agree with his fucking character on TV. Seth comes out like, that stupid laugh he does. He's going to come out and, he saves the day. He does the run in, whatever. He chases Drew McIntyre out of there. Fucking Seth should have showed up to the ring, and it should have looked like fucking a battlefield of on Game of Thrones after one side just fucking lost. He should have just seen bodies laid out everywhere, fucking like holding Adam Pearce in his arms. Adam, no, Adam, don't die. That's what he should have been doing. But they chased Drew McIntyre off because, it's WWE. I'm AEW and WWE had this problem. Like, oh yeah, I'm tough heel getting chased out of the fucking ring by the babyface. So like, whatever with that, I guess it's just part of the course. But that's how I would have did it. Like, I still, outside of not liking Drew McIntyre and being upset with CM Punk, I still don't really get what Seth has to be involved in this for. I think they just want to include him in SummerSlam. I know one thing though, they better not fucking make this a triple threat match between CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins. Please don't fucking do that. Please, I'm begging you. Please don't fucking do that. We going real deep in on Raw today. Next we're gonna talk about the Wyatt Six. First thing I want to say, the Rowan VHS tape was fucking emotional. It was fucking amazing. Eric Rowan did a fucking amazing job. Everything he said at home, that shit was great. That shit was fascinating. I was glued to the screen. That's the first thing I want to say about the VHS tape. In fact, all the VHS recordings have been good. Like, there hasn't been one bad one yet. But I don't want to be... Look, first of all, I don't want to be one of those, like, people that rush story. I'm a real big proponent of let the shit play out. Like for example, like... Okay, so when I'm not, doing my own shit, I listen to Keeping It 100 with Conan Disco Inferno. Here and there, I'll listen to Busted Open. I listen to Eric Bischoff and some shit. Like, I don't really listen to Jericho like that, but those are so like, and I'm just like kind of confused. Like, some of the people I listen to the most, they're like already like, what's going on with the Wyatt Six storyline? What's going on? Let the shit play out. But I will say that it's a very thin line between whether or not this storyline is going to be good or if it's going to be fucking goofy. And I'm confused by why they targeted Chad Gable, because they don't even seem remotely close to, like, the Fiend wasn't feuding with fucking Jinder Mahal, like, with all due respect. Like, and I'm not disrespecting Chad Gable. I think Chad Gable, there's a path for him to be a stud, a star. It's just that it's not a good pairing. The Wyatt Six and Chad Gable, that shit is just not a good pairing. I would have did something else. So now, but they already there. We're already here. So Gable called out Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas came out. Creed brothers were there. They were just beating the shit out of Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas was impervious to fucking pain. They weren't hurting him. He was laughing the whole time. He was getting his ass beat. The part I like the most about him getting his ass beat is when he goes in the corner and he's like, yeah. That there's a tribute to Brody Lee, formerly known as Luke Harper in WWE. I thought that shit was awesome. Then it started to get a little campy. I can't mince words here. The rest of the Wyatt Six shows up on the arena. They're standing there. Creed and Chad Gable are all standing there like, yeah, come on, bring it on. And Bo Dallas is in the corner. He's fucking... I'm going to say the same thing Bully Ray said on Busted Open. Like, a lot of people hate Bully Ray because they say it's condescending or whatever, but I like the guy. I've always thought Bully Ray... I mean, maybe it's because I'm a fucking fan, but Dave LaGreca, Tommy Dreamer, that's a different story. Like, I don't really fuck with them like that. But Bully Ray, I kind of agree with what he said. Like, people ain't acting scared of them enough. It's almost like they laughing at, like, they not taking us. That's why I said, man, the week after they laid everybody out backstage, they should have, like, they needed to hurt some real, like, they need to hurt Michael Cole, Pat Man. Like, I know I've been saying lay everybody out today, but motherfuckers need to get laid out. Because now Pat McAfee's making jokes about him. Michael Cole ain't scared of him. Fucking Chad Gable and the Creeds, they stood in the ring and waited for him to get there, when in reality, they should have been fucking hightailing it out there the minute that they seen him appear on stage. They didn't fear any repercussions whatsoever of beating up Bo Dallas. It's like, is anybody fucking scared of the Wyatt Six? So clearly, they're not being threatened enough. They're kind of being treated like a fucking joke. And they're kind of being booked like they're going to be a mid-card stable. And that's tough. I still have high hopes for this stable. I still have high hopes for this storyline. But it's like, they really need to get into gear, and they really need to like analyze how they're doing this shit and look deeper into like the shit that's going on around them. Nobody's acting like they're scared of the Y6. That needs to change. So the last thing we're going to talk about with Monday Night Raw tonight is the Intercontinental title match between Sami Zayn and Ilya Dragunov. It was a fucking awesome match. You guys know on this show, I don't focus so much on the matches. I focus on the storylines. That's what I am. I'm a storyline guy. I'm a writer myself. That's what I like to talk about. So I'm going to talk about how Bron Breakker fucking broke them both in half at the end of the match. And the most important thing was not the match itself. It was not what Bron Breakker did during the match by interfering. It's the fact that the show closed in the main. Okay, first of all, there are multiple good things. Number one, Intercontinental title match was in the main event. I fucks with that. Number two, Ilya Dragunov being in the main event, I fucks with that. Number three, Bron Breakker standing tall at the end of the show, I fucks with that. It highlights two guys that just got called up from NXT being put into prominent positions. That's super important. I think they have super high hopes for Bron, and on a lesser scale, super high hopes for Ilya Dragunov. And we're going to see. Let's see if this is going to be a triple threat match at SummerSlam. Let's see. Let's see how that's going to go. NXT. We don't got much from NXT this week. We're going to talk about the Rascals versus Gallus. I was just happy to see the Rascals together. They look so fucking happy. That group is so fucking innovative. They're so high speed, fast paced. I always admit on the show that I am not a hardcore TNA fan. I am casual. I'm casual as hell when it comes to TNA. So the young lion, he told me about the Rascals. I knew Wesley was I knew MSK was awesome. I didn't know the other guy. I knew he was a part of the Rascals, but I didn't really know him. Gallus, man, Gallus, I don't know where they would fit in, but I feel like it's time for them to leave NXT. They've been there way too fucking long, to the point where I just feel they feel kind of like a nuisance. They get involved in way too much shit. Honestly, I feel like they need to get called up, and I feel like there needs to be a subdivision of the mid card on the main roster where you have guys that are like constantly infused with each other, storylines with each other. Think about it. Follow me real quick, guys. Gallus, Pete Dunne, Sheamus, Tyler Bate, maybe basically what I'm saying, if I could just be honest, what I'm basically saying is there almost need to be NXT UK within the main roster. They could do it on NXT, but I think it'll fit so much in the main roster. You could have Sheamus feuding with Gallus, and then people switch up. And I think that should also end up culminating in the reintroduction of a new, more important European title. Because you guys know back in the day, European title, that used to be the title for like people at the bottom of the card to have, you know what I'm saying, like Flash Funk type shit. But yeah, so of course we had Gallus, and of course we had Joe Hendry was fucking heavily involved, man. Joe Hendry is every fucking where right now. Joe Hendry is that man. He's doing interviews. He says his contract isn't up anytime soon in TNA. We'll see. You never know when these wrestlers are telling the truth and when they're lying, or when they're trying to keep these fans off of the heels. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for NXT. Didn't have super much to talk about. NXT and Rampage. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like I watch both shows, but there's gonna be some weeks where NXT isn't gonna be on the Crimson Mask show Red. And there's gonna be some weeks where Rampage isn't gonna be on the Crimson Mask show Gold, because sometimes there's not really any real story-driven shit going on. Friday Night Smack It Down. It was a fucking horrible way to kick off the show. I'm not even finna lie to you. Cody came out saying his Cody things. You know, he was hyped up. But the problem I had with it was that A-Town Down came out and interrupted him. And I'm sorry. A-Town Down, they're a cool little tag team. Austin Theory, I think he needs to be rebuilt and like redesigned and not really checking for him. Same thing with Grayson Waller. A lot of good things to like about Grayson Waller, not really checking for him. That's why I'm trying to figure out why these guys who not many people are probably checking for, who just lost their tag titles, feel like they have a right to open the show with Cody Rhodes. That shit just kind of missed this mark to me. It missed this mark to me. I don't quite understand why Cody couldn't get interrupted by the Gorillas of Destiny. I don't see why he couldn't fight them in the main event. I don't know, bro. But for whatever reason, they had A-Town Down come to the ring, and it was like whatever. And I guess I'll tie in the end of the show too here, just in case you guys want to get out of here early. So this all culminated in a tag team match between A-Town Down, Cody Rhodes, and the returning Kevin Owens. So, press his family. Glad things are going in the right way with that. They had a match, and Kevin Owens, of course, same thing happened to Randy Orton happened to Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens got his ass beat. Some people say he's getting written off of TV for a while. I don't know. But yeah, that's what fucking happened. A-Town Down was fucking irrelevant. They were an irrelevant part of the match. They were just like fucking wallpaper. They were just there. So back to the earlier portions of the show. Let's talk about Bayley and Nia Jax. I'll be the first one to say this Nia Jax run she's having now is way better than anything she's done before. I feel like she's matured. I feel like she's not as dangerous as she was. I feel like she's a little more likable, still really annoying, but a little more likable. And I say that before I say this. Bayley fucking eviscerated her on the microphone. Bayley called her clumsy. Bayley called her reckless. Bayley kept... Okay. This might... I want you guys to know me. Let's time out real quick. I want you guys to know me. I'm one of the more anti-cancel culture. People are being too soft. Like, I'm definitely one of those guys. Like, I'll be the first to admit it. And if that loses me some fans, fuck you. To be quite honest. Because I'm just gonna always be a straight shooter, and I'm never gonna betray how I feel or what I think about something. But what I am gonna be is always respectful. I'm always gonna be respectful. I'm always gonna be mindful not to go out of my way to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not gonna spew some type of rhetoric, that could be hurtful or harmful to anybody. I'm gonna feel how I feel, and I'm just a big proponent of if you can't say nothing nice, don't say it at all. I keep shit to myself if I'm, I'm not gonna go out my way to talk shit. But the reason I say all of this is because Bayley came real close, and you guys could disagree with me in the comments if you want to, but I'm not telling you that this is what I think. I want to say that one more time. I'm not telling you that this is what I think. I'm telling you that other people are going to think like this. Bayley came real close to fat shaming Nia Jax. I'm just putting it out there. She came real close. Me, I'm not going to be that guy to say, oh, she's fat shaming Nia Jax. But I'm telling you right now, there's going to be people out there that's going to say that Bayley came close, because she kept referring to her as like, big, clumsy, things typically say about people who are bigger. And as somebody who's been a husky boy, most of, if not all of my life, I'm telling you right now, I know those words very well. But yeah, That's what it was turning to. And then if it gets into a whole thing like Nia looks like this, Bayley looks like this, you could easily see a scenario where Nia Jax turns face. In fact, since history is repeating itself between Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, we're going to talk about this in a little bit here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a face Nia Jax sometime in the near future. But before that, let's talk about LA Knight and Logan Paul. And I'm going to be completely fucking honest with you. Logan Paul ethered LA Knight. Ethered LA Knight. And that's really important because tell me if you guys agree or disagree with me. Has LA Knight lost all, if not most of his momentum that he's had for the last couple years? I think he has, man. I think he has. I think one of the problems is that LA Knight is just not a face. He's not. LA Knight is a fucking heel. He has to be a heel. That's where LA Knight cuts his teeth. Like, Logan Paul eviscerated him with some truth. Spray tanning, sound like The Rock. Like, Logan Paul was dissing the shit out of LA Knight. LA Knight needs to win that US title. LA Knight can't afford to lose that match against Logan Paul, because if LA Knight loses that match against Logan Paul, it's time to fucking cancel Christmas on LA Knight. And I mean that. It's time, because you can only say so much, talk so much, be so funny before your words just start to fall flat. LA Knight needs to cash in. He needs to cash that check that his ass writes all the time. He needs to cash it in on Logan Paul. What are they going to do if LA Knight loses this match? What are they going to do, huh? If LA Knight loses this match, they're going to turn him heel. Then what? Like, LA Knight has to win this match and turn heel after he has the title around his waist. And I hope WWE is smart enough to put this, because this could save LA Knight. Because that catchphrase stuff is only going to get him so far. Logan Paul's a fucking natural. The wrestling ring's a fucking natural disaster. Somehow, and I'm not finna sit here and glaze Logan Paul the whole time, but Logan Paul fucking stepped into the ring just from day one, was a damn good wrestler. He was a damn good promo from day one. That shit is actually kind of fucking amazing. I know a lot of people hate the guy's guts, but I'm here to tell you right now, as when it comes to wrestling, I'm a fucking fan, because the guy's fucking, he's a fucking natural. All right, let's jump back to this whole Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton thing. I just want to jog you guys' memory just a bit. I'm not going to spend too long on this, because this video has already been long as shit. This is Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax all over again. This is Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax. And the whole reason I'm even talking about this is because Tiffany Stratton had a match against Michin. Bayley comes out. Bayley, for some fucking reason, I really don't get the method or mental behind it. Bayley just beats the shit out of the briefcase for Tiffany Stratton. Beats up her briefcase, causes her to lose the match against Michin. I'm telling you right now, you ain't never gonna get a complaint out of me when it comes to Michin winning the match. I want only good things to happen to Michin, but I digress. Michin's one of my favorites. Tiffany Stratton's one of my favorites. And it's good to see Michin get a win, because damn, she sure does lose a lot. So it's good to see her get a win. Don't know if it makes sense, but I'm always happy to see Michin win. This is history repeating itself. I'll make it short and sweet. Nia Jax, there's a good chance she's going to take that title from Bayley at SummerSlam. There's even greater chance that her friend, her little personal Barbie, is either going to close to cash in or cash. It depends on how WWE wants to play it. WWE could play it as her cashing in immediately and becoming the champion, or Nia Jax, or Nia Jax can win, and they could do a whole, am I going to do it? Am I gonna do it? Am I gonna cash in? And then one day she finally does it, turning Nia Jax to a sympathetic figure. And it's just history repeating itself because it's the same thing that happened between Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss. And if you don't believe me, go back and look. Now I want to talk about the end of the show. Not so much the end of the show, but the people involved on SmackDown. I already told you that the Bloodline destroyed Kevin Owens after that tag match. I'm going to give you some hard truths. This Bloodline storyline right now is the Temu version of the Bloodline storyline. Solo Sikoa is the Temu version of Roman Reigns. The story is getting stale and redundant. I'm personally sick of it. I'm sick of Cody beefing with them. I wish they would have. I can't wait to Roman. I'm not finna say I can't wait to Roman get back to either finally put this Bloodline storyline shit out of his misery or to fix the shit. One or the other. Roman Reigns, please come back and fix this shit. I don't even need the stable of the Bloodline to implode. What I need to happen is this. I need the Bloodline and their storyline to fall down the card. With this Solo Sikoa version of Bloodline, I don't want to see them anywhere near the WWE Undisputed title or the World title. I don't want to see them anywhere near that. They need to be moved down to like trying to get the tag titles, trying to get the US like that's where they need to be. With Roman not in it, they don't need to be around the main title picture. They can still be a stable. They can still beat people up. Just beat up people in the mid card. Just add to the mid card, man. Like I'm done with this version. I think Jacob Fatu is gonna end up being awesome. If anything, I think the Bloodline should go like this. You're gonna take the Guerrillas of Destiny, and that might be a little bit more here in a second. The Guerrillas of Destiny, you take them, you make them prominent figures in the tag division. You take Jacob Fatu, you slowly put him in between area where you're challenging for the main title and you're in the mid card. Let's call it the Kevin Owens zone. You put Jacob Fatu in the Kevin Owens zone. Solo Sikoa, you take Solo Sikoa and you firmly put him smack dab right in the fucking middle of the mid card. That's where he's supposed to be. Harsher fans will say Solo Sikoa should be in the low card, you know, the fucking Kira Tozawa. No, that's not right. Nah, Solo's a mid carder, man. But yeah, because this shit is just not working for me, man. SummerSlam need to come and go. Roman Reigns needs to fucking put these dudes in check. I need to do whatever. I have some big questions about the Bloodline, the future of the Bloodline. I just know that Roman is not going to be in the Bloodline. I think he's done with the Bloodline. And I think, you know, the Bloodline might remain, but Roman Reigns won't be in it. News and rumors for this past week, WWE. And we're going to shoot through it quick. This has been a long video. We're going to shoot through it quick. Number one, Natalya has apparently re-signed with WWE. They said that there were other companies interested in Natalya, so WWE wanted to lock her up real quick to make sure that she was going to stay around. But there was definitely a possibility for her to jump ship. That was on the table if WWE did not lock her up. Number two, Rikishi. Rikishi this week, man. Rikishi has run his mouth a little bit too much this week. Rikishi has been going on and on and on. And we all love Rikishi, but he's been going on and on and on about what Jey Uso isn't getting done, or like what they're not doing for Jey Uso. And I honestly think that if Jey Uso is not involved in the opinions of Rikishi, because you see this all the time with athletes and sports, they'll have their family members or their parents speak out against stuff the team is doing, or speak out and address what their son, their relative needs. And I feel like that's kind of a little bit what's happening here. Rikishi needs to shut the hell up. And if he's not sharing Jey Uso's opinion, I think Jey Uso should probably have a word with his father and just tell him to, chill out a little bit, because he's putting too much out there. Apparently Scott Steiner has never done steroids. Shit. He said he never did steroids. He said that, his shit is all natural. Yeah, Scott, come on now. Scott, come on, Scott. Scott, you went from Big Papa Pump to Big Papa Chump. The minute that, the shit ran out, you deflated like a balloon. Scott, you did steroids, bro. Everybody was doing them back then. We get it. You don't have to even sit here and go through all that shit. You did the steroids. It is what it is. So many other guys did. Biggie, he provided an update on his health. It basically, long story short, Biggie still saying that, the things he needs to regenerate in his neck is not regenerating. And I'm gonna be honest, man, Biggie doesn't need to wrestle anymore. I think that Biggie, they need to put Biggie in a more prominent on-screen role that isn't physical. Biggie would have been great for one of the GM roles. I'm pretty sure he still wants to fucking wrestle. I'm pretty sure that's still his goal. But yeah, GM role. But the people who are in the GM roles right now are doing a good job. So commentary, they could use in there, but I feel like the commentators are doing a good job. So I definitely feel like they need to find some type of on-screen role for Big E. I think maybe like if Big E became a manager for the New Day, like something, get the New Day back going, get the New Day back rolling in the tag team division, have Big E be their manager. I don't know if that's something that will be humiliating or demoralizing for Big E. I'm not sure, but he's too talented to not have on screen at all, only to relegate him to like pre and post pay-per-view shows and shit. They need to give him some more screen time, but I don't think he's gonna wrestle again, and I don't think he should wrestle again. If it's taking him this long to get back healthy, it's probably a sign that he shouldn't do it anymore. Speaking of injuries, Tyler Bate is going to be out for the rest of the year. He last was seen tag teaming with Pete Dunne, as we talked about earlier. He's out for the year. Super talented, super young. Hope he has a speedy recovery. And the biggest news for this week is that allegedly Hikuleo, brother of Tama Tonga and Tanga Loa, will be signing with the WWE and will possibly be joining the Bloodline. I don't have proof for any of those things. This is just shit I'm hearing, and I'm relaying it to you. They said he could be signing with WWE. My question is this. My question is just how big of a stable are you going to make the Bloodline? Because not only has Hikuleo signed, but you also have the Tonga twins from WOW at the Performance Center. People are saying that they could join the Bloodline. I don't think that's going to happen, but it could happen. So then, like, if we're talking about all these people joining the Bloodline, now you're talking about Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tanga Loa, Hikuleo, Jacob Fatu, and that's 7 people. I don't expect Jacob Fatu to stay in the Bloodline that long. In fact, I wouldn't be halfway surprised if he jumped ship and switched over to Roman side. I don't know. But I don't see him there for long. His star power is too great. So, I mean, maybe they should build up the stable, because Solo's probably, if he doesn't go on Roman Reigns side, Solo's probably going to turn on him because he's outshining him. All right, Mass Gang. That's going to be it. This is episode 2. We done, man. We done. But before we get out of here, I'm going to do a few little shout outs. First, I'm going to shout out my boy Andrew Mott over on the League FFB. And we do a show every Sunday called Let's Talk Dynasty, where we talk about fantasy football. We get people up to speed, up and going. We educate them on the world of fantasy football. I also want to shout out my two guys, a part of the Crimson Mass team, Petey Stunt, the Young Lion. I know they haven't been in any videos in a while. Everything is perfectly fine. Those guys are just busy, but hopefully we could get them on soon. I also want to shout out another cool thing, another wrestling group community over on Facebook called Wrestling World. Please join. The more people we have to interact about professional wrestling, the better. All links will be in the description. Please check it out. Please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn on your notifications. Make sure you like this video because your boy just put some work in. Make sure you give him some love. All right. I will catch you guys next time. Mass Gang. We are